Hey everyone! Today I'm going to review the new Super Mario movie to let you know if it's okay for your kids to watch. Now this movie is rated PG, so I'm not talking about your older kids. If you've got kids who are 10 or 11, don't worry about it. Go have fun. But when I was in the theater this weekend, there were several kids who looked to be about 5 years old. Lots of little kids play Mario Kart and other Mario games, so they may want to see this movie. Before you bring them along, you may want to take a look at this review. While my 10-year-old was totally fine, my somewhat sensitive 7-year-old was in tears and hiding during several scenes. So stay tuned for the details of what to watch out for. Before we get started, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I'm only going to show clips that are already in the trailers, so there shouldn't be any spoilers for you. If you're new here at OK for Kids, I review various aspects of the movie, including profanity, violence, sex, and more. Let's start with the cost rating. I think COVID rocked the movie industry enough that tickets are reasonably priced again. I did pay $7 for a soda, but all in all, it was a good price to occupy the kids for a couple hours. I'll set this to low. Next, let's talk about language. As a PG movie, there's no profanity at all. However, there is some language you might want to be aware of. They use words like lunatic and psycho, and one character says some pretty disturbing things like, "There's no escape, the only hope is the sweet relief of death." These things may or may not be disturbing to a 5-year-old, so I'll set this between a low and a medium. Next up is sex. Of course, there's nothing really sexual in this film. Some kids' movies are filled with innuendo that only grown-ups would understand, but I don't think there's much of that either. Bowser does love Princess Peach, but without giving away any of the storyline, there's nothing really concerning there. One thing I love about this movie is the big role the princess plays. In the original Super Mario Bros. Game I had on my Nintendo, the princess was nothing more than an object that needed rescuing. She had no humanity on her own. In this movie, again without giving too much away of the plot, Princess Peach is just as much of a badass fighting hero as Mario. They really leveled the playing field gender-wise, so girls will like this movie just as much as boys. The sex rating gets a 0 for me. Next, let's talk about the violence. And I'm going to expand this a bit more from just violence into general scariness. I can't show a lot of the scenes themselves, but there is a lot of lava and fire and explosions. There's a near drowning and very scary bad guys. There are several chase scenes where our beloved characters are in serious peril and it doesn't look like things will end well for them. My daughter was terrified. The theater was obviously dark, so I couldn't see how the other kids reacted, but I heard several yelps and shrieks throughout. This is a movie with some serious suspense. Now, I will say that after hiding in her seat in tears for a large portion of the film, as we walked out, my daughter said she thought it was great. So I guess it was a good kind of scared. But she's nearly 8 years old. My rating for violence is aimed at what a small child would think, not an adult, so I'm going to set it to medium. There's one last rating, which is how annoying it was for me as a parent to sit through this movie. I didn't love having to console my kid through every scary scene, but on the whole, the movie was fine. I wouldn't really want to watch it again, and I am someone who enjoys kids' movies. I'll watch Sonic or the Lego Movie whenever the kids want to watch it, but this one was not as good as those, in my opinion. There were a lot of good tie-ins to the video games, so people who want to see those parallels will likely be happy. I'll set this between a low and a medium. So as you can see, the only thing to be concerned about is how scary the movie might be. Again, it is PG, so we're not talking about Friday the 13th or anything. And even if your kids do get scared, it'll likely pass quickly and can be smoothed over with some popcorn. I'm going to say this movie is okay for age 7 and up. My 7-year-old was scared, but in the end she said she liked it. And you know your kids best. If they get scared easily, they definitely will get scared during parts of this movie. But it's a good, fun kind of scared that's usually resolved in the plot within minutes. So use your judgment. Like I said, there were lots of very little kids in the theater when I went. So that's all I have for today. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to see more reviews of what movies, shows, and games are okay for your kids. See you next time.